Hi, I'm Cheryl Ware, and I have been a customer service representative for many years of my life. And as much as I love to complain about customer service jobs, I am very grateful at the same time that I've been able to take on that opportunity. It changed my life in many, many ways. When I moved to Middletown, Rhode Island, when I was in seventh grade from across the country, I simply had no social skills. I could not speak to people. I didn't feel the need to speak to people, and I simply didn't want to. I also, even at certain points, somebody would speak directly to my face and I still wouldn't respond. And it was becoming a real issue that was affecting many, many areas of my life. Eventually, my social skills improved naturally through the course of middle school and high school. But still, I was shy, I was quiet, I was awkward, and I simply didn't have the social skills I needed to feel normal in this group of very social people. The biggest step that changed all of that I took was getting a customer service job. When I was 17, I got a job as a cashier. I instantly regretted it. It was the worst experience ever at that time. But I eventually learned to be able to make basic conversation with people during this business transaction and to be able to speak to them in a way that at least wasn't entirely awkward. And eventually I got a supervisor position. Unfortunately, I was never taken seriously there, and I was often ignored. I was a 17-year-old girl telling many people over twice my age what to do when they've worked there much longer than I ever have. And I was quiet, and I couldn't be assertive. I couldn't stand my ground. I couldn't remind people to do certain things. And if somebody disagreed with me, I would just automatically agree with them. I eventually left that job, fortunately, and I then moved on. A few years later, I am working at a grocery store in my hometown, and I am a cashier. Being a cashier taught me how to stand my ground and be assertive. That was something that I always have and always probably will struggle with, but I have improved greatly. As a cashier in a grocery store, you do face a lot of angry people. You face a lot of people who may threaten your safety, and it can be a very scary job at certain points, especially for somebody who's shy and on the quieter side. So I learned very quickly that I had to just deal with it, and I eventually learned that, instead of like crying to my manager or, just having like not being able to handle it myself or like absolutely just being taken aback, I was prepared to be able to handle certain conflict and work it out and lower the tension and figure out a way that we could both at least come to a compromise instead of having somebody incredibly angry at me for simply doing my job. So it was something that really changed everything when I learned to face adversity a little bit. And that was a major jumping point. That was one thing to be able to be confident in what I am saying and show that was something that I was lacking in the strongest way. And that is definitely one of the main reasons why I wasn't being taken seriously. At this job, I eventually became a supervisor yet again, and again, I wasn't being taken seriously. I couldn't figure out what the issue was, and I thought about it for a while, and then I realized maybe I'm just being closed off. Maybe I'm too quiet. So I decided that I realized maybe I should be more friendly and get to know everybody and like really show that I care about them, because that was something I was missing out on, and people didn't see me as somebody that was there. I wasn't seen as like somebody who was friendly in even in like a professional sense. I simply was just a person who gave orders ultimately, and I decided to really get to know people, to show that I care about them and that I am a reliable person. I was able to make myself seem like a presentable, likable, sensible person who was able to efficiently run, my department. And that really changed things for me. I didn't realize how much building that professional and that professional relationship and that friendship could really just change everything. From there, I was taken more seriously, but of course, there's always going to be a few loose ends that you need to tie up. With that assertiveness, I learned that if somebody didn't agree with me, I could always work it out, and we could always discuss it in a way that I don't just give up on. And that was a major, major turning point in my ability to be a leader. And I discovered that I could be persuasive when I stood my ground, and it helped even more when I provided logic behind my reasoning. So I ended up using, not meaning to, I ended up, building the pathos aspect, where I developed an emotional connection with these people and they learned to trust me. I used logos by, providing logic with all my arguments to be able to tell them, let's not leave the trash for the morning crew, which again would go into ethos because that would be rude. And let's, take the trash out so we don't leave it for them. Um, or again, with ethos, I was able to work it out with customers and make them happy and make me happy, and everything would go okay. And being in customer service drastically changed my ability to be a leader and to be able to talk to people in a way that actually convinced them to do something, and it improved my social life and it improved everything, all aspects ultimately. And thanks to that experience, I am a much more confident, well-spoken person. I'm still on the quiet side, but that's changed dramatically. Thank you for watching, and thank you to Writing 201 and Dr. Diehouse for this awesome class. And thank you.